Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to the 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. And topping the list for us tonight, the Knox County Sheriff's Office is opening up about the death of a man who had gone back and forth between UT Medical Center and the county jail. With the investigation now closed, Sheriff Tom Spangler released body cam video and spoke in defense of his jailers. The video begins with David Batts inside a transport van which had carried him from the hospital to the jail. Batts had been accused of sexual battery at the hospital. According to Sheriff Spangler, discharge paperwork and the transport driver indicated Batts was under the influence. The video released later shows Batts struggling with officers during what Spangler described as a pat-down. Officers are seen using their stun guns and striking Batts. Spangler described Batts as combative, saying he refused to go along with the officers' commands. Eventually, they are able to put Batts into an isolation cell. That's what you're seeing in this view from an overhead surveillance camera. Batts spends more than 8 hours in the cell, laying on the floor, walking around, staring out the window. Releasing the timeline of this encounter, the sheriff said Batts was checked on several times over that period by nurses and staff. Now, around 10 o'clock at night, a nurse checks Batts' vital signs as Batts continues to grapple with jailers. The nurse decides Batts needs to go back to UT Medical. Batts and corrections officers keep tangling as they try to put Batts into prison clothes. Eventually, they get Batts onto a gurney and into the ambulance. From there, the timeline goes like this. At 11:30, Batts is taken back to the hospital, and by 5:30 a.m., a judge decides to grant Batts a pretrial release. Another 17 hours go by until Batts dies at the hospital around 11:25 p.m. on January 8th. According to the district attorney, the medical examiner determined Batts died as a result of meningitis. The injuries from his time in custody did not contribute to his death, and the deputies involved would not be charged.
So there's a lot of claims that have been going on out there about what Knox County Sheriff's Office officers have done. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, because I'm tired and fed up with people making statements out here that this is what happened when they have no idea what went on.
Important to note, Sheriff Spangler would not answer questions specific to the video due to Batts' family hiring an attorney. Sheriff Spangler ended his news conference saying his office will be reviewing its body camera policies. Big issues up for debate tonight in Nashville. The special session called by Governor Lee is now underway. They're focusing on 3 topics: immigration, disaster relief, and the Education Freedom Act. That's the name for this year's version of Governor Lee's proposal to let some parents use public money to pay for private school tuition, expanding what has been a pilot program statewide. Now, Governor Lee insists public school systems will not lose funding. Opponents, though, have doubts. With that session underway, we're also seeing protests to the issues up for debate. And that includes an issue beyond those 3 topics we just mentioned. I want to show you some video of students calling on lawmakers to address gun violence after the deadly Antioch school shooting. And they're calling on lawmakers to add gun legislation to the special session. They want to add new proactive measures, including background checks, red flag laws, and mandatory waiting periods. Beyond the debate in Nashville, our next Big 7 story, we're taking a closer look at the options parents have to choose from when it comes to their child's education. Not only is this the start of the special session, this is also National School Choice Week, put together by a group which wants parents to be aware of all the options for their kids. That group bills itself as nonpartisan and neutral in legislation. They also aim to help families find the best fit for their child. And here in Tennessee, these options include public school, private school, charter schools, homeschooling, and within those, these days families may also be able to choose online or in-person education. Alyssa Draper with Tennessee Connections Academy, an online public school for children, shares why some might lean toward the online option for their child.
There's lots of reasons kids choose an online option. Some kids aren't challenged enough in a regular brick and mortar school. So as they come here, they can get personalized instruction that we can also supplement with things that are a little bit more rigorous. Some kids attend TNCA because they maybe have health problems, and this is a really flexible program. It lets kids attend treatments, doctor appointments as needed. We've got kiddos here who are athletes. We've got quite a few gymnasts, actually. We've got some people that ride horses. So they're able to do their sports during the day, and then they do their schooling at nighttime, and they're able to use that flexibility and work around their schedule.
Countless families got their first taste of virtual learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, but online or in person, Draper Today suggested parents look at the whole picture, from how their child is performing academically to socially and emotionally. A big conclusion to a controversy that we've been following for you. The investigation of a St. John Newman priest has now been closed. The Knox County Sheriff's Office confirms to 6 News that the allegations against Father Joseph Reed were unsubstantiated. Now, Father Reed was placed on leave last month after being accused of boundary violations. The Diocese of Knoxville has said it will conduct its own independent investigation into the matter. Big hassle for drivers and big cleanup effort. Huckleberry Springs Road is open again tonight, but Rural Metro Fire Department sharing these pictures of the crash which happened on Huckleberry Springs near Drennan Road in East Knoxville. This is around 8 o'clock this morning. Despite the truck being removed, the department says the road the diesel-filled tanker flipped onto, it closed it for hours. TDEC also estimates that about 100 gallons of diesel fuel leaked into the creek. Fortunately, the driver was able to escape uninjured, and TDEC is cleaning up that fuel leak. But again, the road is now back open tonight after being closed for a good chunk of the day. Finally, on our list for you tonight, a big return to the hardwood. Kim Caldwell returning tonight. The Lady Vols taking on number 2 South Carolina.
Hold your son and it kind of hits you, but it's just kind of interesting. It's a double life right now. You're here, your coach, you're home, your mom, and I think it'll be that way for a while. It always helps when you have a staff that you can trust, you have a team that you can trust, and you have support at home. My husband, again, is doing a great job. My mom is here, bless her heart, and it would be a completely different story if that wasn't the case.
And we're going to have highlights for you and let you know how the Lady Vols, who, by the way, are 18th in the country right now, do against South Carolina.